Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday.
This week's topic is going to be post-traumatic stress disorder, otherwise known as PTSD. This is episode 125. Hey guys, welcome back. So, the inspiration for this week's topic kind of comes from a little bit of an experience I had on my last day of work. So, back when I was doing the box truck, the package delivery side of FedEx before I switched over to trucking, one of my customers, I was delivering a package to their house, and I ended up getting attacked by a very large dog. It was a house that was like out in the country, had like a 2-mile long driveway. I'd been there about a dozen times. Had never knew they had a dog, because there was never any like beware of dog sign. There was never any like run lines, no dog house, no signs that that indicated that there was a dog present. And so went to deliver there. Got to the back of the truck, digging through the packages to find their what was being delivered to their house, and all of a sudden I heard like a very low pitch, very loud roar. I was like, what the fuck? Of course, I looked around the side of the truck and towards the back of the house, and that's when I saw like a big dog, like Great Dane, Mastiff, something, basically equivalent of a horse, just running around back there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't waste any time. I literally got the package, ran it over to the front door. I actually left it at the garage because I figured wanted to get in and get out, because I wanted to get the hell out of there, because I hadn't had any issues with dogs at that point, but I've been at a lot of houses where I had close calls, because as a delivery driver, I noticed that a lot of people that'll order packages and then they'll just let their dogs run free outside even though they're expecting the packages. It's like there were a lot of houses where they had either one big dog or multiple smaller dogs that were running around, and a lot of times they would come after you. And so sometimes, there were a couple times I basically would hop in the back, and I would just throw the package out the ground. I was like, well, I can't safely get to your door, so. But on this occasion, thought it was good. I noticed I saw the dog. He was in the back, and I was like, okay, you stay back there. I'll stay up here. I'm gonna leave you alone. You leave me alone. So I thought it was good. You know, I made it back to the truck, and before I could get in, I heard the owner yelling as she was running out. Oh my god! Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know. It's like, oh, I forgot to put the dog up. I'm so sorry, you know. And I'm like, I'm good. Well, he stayed back there. I stayed up here. I stayed out of his way, you know. So yeah. I mean, I'm okay. He was, oh, okay. She's like, well, maybe he won't do anything this time. I'm like, this time. So we chatted for probably a few minutes, just standing there. When all of a sudden, I happened to catch, you know, the dog barreling out around her, coming at me, and of course I turned with my side facing him, put my arm up. Dog got a hold of me by the arm, started dragging me across the lawn. Of course, the owner jumping on the dog, trying to pull him off me. And of course, like, I was kicking at him or whatever, and you know, I got him to let go, and I got away. Didn't stay around and talk to the owner. Just literally just hobbled my way back to the truck, got in, and basically drove all the way down to the end of the driveway. Parked it for a minute. Messaged my boss at the time. Said, so this just happened. You kind of told him, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I think so. I was like, I think I'm in shock. I was like, I know he got a hold of me. I don't know how bad it is. The boss is like, well, go down to the truck stop down the road and send me pictures. Let me see how bad it is, whatever. I was like, oh, yes, sir. So went down the street, went to the truck stop, went into the bathroom. Thankfully, the little single bathrooms where you could lock the door. Took a picture with me showing the back of my arm with the coat on, and you can see the puncture marks on the back of my arm with the coat on. And then took the coat off and did another picture. You can see the couple of the canine punctures on the back of my arm. You know, it's like, so I sent those to him, and he called me back. He was, so, would you be, you know, can you keep going? Like, are you able to continue your route? I'm like, I guess so. So Joe, so go ahead, just keep going to your stops. I'm going to work on trying to see what I can do. I'm like, okay. So I still had like maybe about 65 more stops, because I had a long route. It was like 130 stops, and a lot of them were like 6 miles apart. So it was going to take, you know, my route took forever. Like, I'd leave at like 8 a.m. and I wouldn't get back till like 10 p.m. because you figure you'd deliver at one address, and then it's going to take you like 10-15 minutes to get to the next address. You know, so it's like, it wasn't like deliver here, deliver there, you know. So I started working through what I had left. And about half an hour later, my boss calls me and says, hey, where are you at? I have 3 trucks. I have 3 other drivers that are going to come out there and meet you. They're going to each take like 15 to 20 packages or stops off you. And then, you know, that should leave you with like 5 to 10 stops. They just knock those out. And then I need you to go to urgent care and get seen, get checked out, and give them this information, because we're going to pay for it. It's on workers' comp. I'm like, yes, sir. All right. So I had 3 trucks meet me. They all took 15 stops. That left me with about 11 more stops. So I went ahead and knocked those out. And then I took off to head back towards home and called the wife, told her what happened, and went down the street to the nearest urgent care place. Basically went in, said, yeah, I had a dog attack and I just need to get seen and get on record that this happened or whatever. So So that was fun. Got a actual like report drawn up, and I mean, thankfully, that happening kind of is the reason why I now have the Dodge Ram that I have, because I think when it all came down to it, I went through Morgan and Morgan, went back and forth with the owner and their insurance company for probably a year. And I think what we finally settled on was like, I believe it was like 39,000. But then of course after, you know, paying workers' comp, and because I guess you got to pay, you know, the whatever workers' comp covered, you got to, I guess, pay that back, which that doesn't make sense because workers' comp is supposed to help you out if you're injured. So out of a settlement, why do I have to pay it back? But so after paying that back, I had a check for like $18,500. So that was pretty nice. Basically, you know, went to their office. I think it was like a Thursday morning when it finally everything got settled. We have your check. When would you like to come get it? I said I'll be over there tomorrow morning. And went to their office and basically left with this big ass check and went straight to the bank because I was like, I didn't feel comfortable with the walking around with a check quite that big. Deposited it. I had already talked to the wife ahead of time about part of my plans. I said $5,000 of this is set aside for a down payment because I want to get my truck. Like, I've been wanting a career cab truck for the past however many years. I was like, now we're getting a settlement and we're gonna have the money to do it, so I'd very much like to actually do this. And she's like, okay, that makes sense. All right. The rest of the money was fair game. Paid bills, ordered what things that we needed to get, you know. And so I put $5,000 aside and ended up going through a company called 321 Drive here locally. That if you're in, I don't know if they have any locations outside Nashville or not. They might just be here locally a bit, but maybe not. I don't know. But I was able to go through them to get my truck, which as of like next week, I'm literally making my last payment on. So I'm 4 years of owning my truck and making payments every week, and I'm literally about to pay it off now. So it's pretty awesome. But to go along with this week's topic, the issue that happened, or the thing that happened, didn't make me scared of dogs in general, because I love dogs. Like whenever we get a house, we plan to get a dog or a couple, especially if it's like a dog of a family member, relative, whatever, and we're at their house, and you know it's dogs that I know. I'm not scared of them at all, you know. But on occasion, I've noticed, especially like once I went through like 6 months of physical therapy and got my knee back in working order, and you know, went through all the medical treatment and whatnot. I could be walking down the sidewalk and somebody be walking towards me with their dog on a leash, and like especially the big ones like Great Danes, German Shepherds, Labs, you know, like Goldens, whatever, walking towards me with a dog on a leash, and I'll step aside to let them pass. You know, let them go past me or whatever, and I'll get back on the sidewalk and keep going. Or the ones that are really tough are whenever I see a loose dog, like if it's a little dog, I'm not so worried, but if it's like a big dog that could do damage, then I'm a little bit worried. So I've had a few occasions when I get back here to the apartment complex. One of our neighbors has a German Shepherd, and I think they just let the dog out. Like, he runs off in the grass, does his business, comes back. I'll be backing into my parking space, and I'll see this dog just roaming free out there in the grass, and I'm like, hesitant to get out of the truck. Because I'm like, all it takes is like split second and that dog comes charging at me and there's not much I can do. Especially once that dog gets a hold of me, I'm screwed. So a lot of times I'll kind of stay in the truck for a little bit, or if I do get out, I'll hurry to the apartment and close the door and lock it. But I'll message her and be like, yeah, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit here. She's like, what's going on? Like, there's, the neighbor's German Shepherd's out and whatever. She goes, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, just hang out and wait for a minute, just they'll bring him back in a minute. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's what I end up doing. So I've had a handful of occasions like that where random dog walking around loose or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay out here. But after going through the medical treatment and stuff, I wouldn't have said that, oh yeah, I have PTSD. But then after having a couple of occasions where you see a loose dog or whatever, it's like, okay, I guess I do have PTSD. I guess, see a loose dog, I kind of start hyperventilating a little bit, thinking, is this German Shepherd going to charge me and attack me? Because I hadn't done anything to that dog that got a hold of me. Like, he literally just came after me. And it's like, I can understand if I did something to provoke it, but I didn't. I literally just showed up, was delivered a couple packages, and the dog came barreling around the owner and got me. So it's funny, the insurance company fought us, when my attorney was trying to negotiate with him, but the owner was basically just telling the insurance company, just pay him. I'm like, see, well, they should just listen to their client, because the homeowner wants them to just pay me. So apologies there. Still at the tail end of getting through this cold. So had something, what happened recently, that kind of like, because I'll go a while, like I won't have anything happen for a little bit, and then I'll have something happen and it'll remind me, oh yeah, crap, I'm still dealing with that. So my last night of the week, which thankfully this week we went back to having 2 days off, so I'm back to doing Tuesday through Saturday again, and then Sunday morning I get off, and I'm off till Tuesday night. So I think I was running a Huntsville load that night, and I delivered to Huntsville, and I was on my way back to Lebanon. At that point, unsure what I was actually gonna do next, and had just limited places that you could stop, like some of the hubs on that time of the week. Usually they're locked up. Like, you get in the gate and you can drop and pick up an empty, but you can't get in the building. So if you have to go to the bathroom in some locations, it's better just to stop at a truck stop or rest area. So on the way back up, I was like, could totally hit the bathroom. So I stopped at this rest area on 65 North coming up towards Nashville. I had never pulled in there before. But, when I had pulled in, I parked along the curb instead of pulling in through a space because, of course, I have doubles, a set of trailers, so I was longer, and I thought, well, I just want to make sure that I can get in and get out, so I don't want to pull through a space, then it's too tight, and I can't, pull out without my rear trailer clipping the truck beside me. So I ended up parking along the curb, set the brake, shut the truck off, locked everything up, went inside, did what I had to do, came back outside on my way to the truck, and I happened to glance over to my right, and about 40 yards away from me, just a German Shepherd just roaming around the grass. And of course I was like, oh fuck. I'm not afraid of the shepherds, not, like I said, not afraid of dogs in general, just, for whatever reason, after my experience, when I see a dog running loose near me, especially a big one, it tends to bring up old feelings. And so I saw that dog, and I literally just looked straight back towards the truck and thought, you know what, I'm just don't make any sudden movements. Just walk slowly back to the truck. Just don't look at the dog. Don't make eye contact, whatever. So got back to the truck, unlocked the door, climbed in, and then realized at that moment that I had been breathing for the like 2 minutes or whatever that it took me to walk to the truck. Get back in the driver's seat, like, it's like, oh man. Of course, I glance up towards where the dog was, and he was gone. No idea where he went. I'm like, normally I would have walked towards the back of the truck to actually like look at the, do a visual check on the the dolly and whatnot, make sure everything looks like it's still, that nothing was messed with and everything's still hooked up properly. But I knew there was this random dog just running loose out there, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I did a tug test and took off. But I had thought about the dog attack for quite a few months at that point, and that just going through that, just seeing that dog out there, kind of was a reminder, like, oh yeah, yep, still not, still got issues. So I was texting the wife, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, I just, I guess I have PTSD because I'm, I can't see a dog running loose out here and not immediately get triggered. So that was the inspiration for this week's topic. I actually had kind of an idea to try to make this week's episode a little more entertaining, a little more interesting, and I was gonna have people on. So I reached out to my bro Ricco, basically, and basically asked him, like, hey, so I was like, hey bro, like, have you experienced anything in the past that basically might have given you like PTSD, that if something happens presently, you still, you get triggered, you feel it, whatever. He was like, yeah, I got shot. I'm like, oh, okay. He was, so at first he was like, no, I really don't have anything, bro. I could try to think of something, but then he was talking about, like, if I talked about anything, it'd be, when I got shot by my cousin. And so now I guess anytime he hears like fireworks, or if he hears a gunshot somewhere nearby, it stills kind of that jump reaction. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be great. If you could talk about that, that'd be great. So he was like, oh yeah, so I'll get it recorded, and I was like, yeah, if you can get it over to me by tomorrow night, because this is last night when I was talking to him. And so he's like, yeah, I'll get it recorded, I'll get it over to you. I'm like, all right, cool. And I reached out to my buddy Dave up in PA. I didn't know if he had anything, but I sent him a voice clip. Shout out to Dave if you hear this. But I'd asked him, like, hey, if you have anything that happened in the past that you have PTSD from, that triggers you, that if something happens, you kind of react a certain way. My plan was hopefully that Ricco and Dave would have some kind of story, like 10 minutes that they could talk about, and maybe I'd ask the wife, but then I saw Dave saw the message, but never got any reply back from him. So I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he doesn't have anything. And Ricco, I don't know what happened with him, because something must have went down today, because I haven't heard from him for like half the day, so he must have just been busy or something. So that's why it's just me on this podcast episode, because I wasn't able to get any material from my friends / guests. So at some point, some of these Real Talk episodes, that's what I'm gonna try to do, is either have them on like that, or have a back and forth with him, where I'm literally having a back and forth discussion with him. That's the plan. I'm looking forward to that. But for right now, it's like just trying to take it week by week, day by day, do the best I can, and So, if any of you out there have any kind of story, something that happened with you, something that basically, if you experience something like it today, you get triggered, you have a reaction, whatever, feel free to record a audio message, like an audio clip, and email it to me at blodgetshowpodcast@gmail.com. And depending on depending on what it is, I could totally see including that recording on the one of these upcoming episodes. But yeah, PTSD. I know for a while I heard that only military guys have, that only happens with like military personnel, whatever, because of being over in war. And I'm like, no. Then I've since learned that that's not the case. Like, yeah, it is most common with like military and emergency responders and stuff like that. But it can happen with anything. Like, if somebody could be with a friend or a family member that ends up getting shot and killed, dies in their arms, and then for years they might have, be triggered by the sound of a gunshot or a firecracker or something, and maybe it goes away, maybe it doesn't. It's just one of those things that, like, and I'll admit, like, I really don't understand it myself. I don't know how it works. I don't know why we react the way we do. In the fact it's been 4 years, and like I said, I'll go a while without thinking about it, and then I'll be walking out from some random truck stop or rest area, and see a dog walking around by itself, and of course I'm in immediate survival mode. I'm like, oh crap! Like, there's this dog over there. I don't know what to do. I need to hopefully it doesn't attack me, whatever. All these thoughts go through my head all at once. So, and so usually I just take it slow. And it's weird too, because like don't get me wrong, I love dogs, but it's funny because like I saw one lady came through a Love's travel stop, and I was I think I was getting a 5-hour energy, or I was buying a coffee or something, and or getting some of those breakfast burritos, and there was a lady in front of me that had this pit bull, and she had him on a leash, and it was like he had a little, like a kind of like a harness on, so like the leash was underneath him, and like the dog was like all just running around, like, just tongue out, drooling everywhere, seemed like very happy, whatever. I'm standing in line behind them a couple feet, and the dog turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, hey buddy. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa. So I didn't say anything else to the dog, and the owner was really like, what are you growling for? Like, you never growl, what the hell? He looks back at me, like, I don't know, I just said, hey buddy. I don't know, maybe what I said just offended the dog. I don't know, because most of the time it's like our neighbor, they have a white husky. They'll come, they take the dog out for a walk to go walk around in the grass, and every time they come back, and hey buddy, the dog will come over and jump on me and lick me, whatever. But this pit bull, for whatever reason, got offended when I talked to it. So but yeah, it's just one of those things, like, having the reactions that we do, dealing with it the way, like reacting the way that we do and dealing with it the way that we do, none of that, like, none of it's anything that we have to be ashamed about. It's not even really our fault. we just, we experience trauma, and so, the body is just has its way of dealing with it. So I don't know if, I hope that at some point that I'll be at the point where I can be out and about and see a random dog like walking beside its owner without a leash, and I won't be like immediately like hyperventilating. But I was out for quite a bit. I had trouble walking upstairs because my knee, I didn't blow it out, but it was pretty bad. Like, I had to take it really slow, especially when walking upstairs. And the funny thing is, when I was going through that recovery process, I think I was only a couple months in. I was walking a little bit better, but things are still rough. My boss with that package delivery side called me up one day and was like, hey, because this is right around the time that I think Nashville had a tornado that destroyed a bunch of stuff. It missed the Nashville hub, but it destroyed the Mount Juliet hub, which is the one I was out of. So the Mount Juliet peeps were running out of, I think, Bowling Green. Yeah, I think it was Bowling Green. It was like an hour, like 60 or 80 miles north. And he wanted me to come back. He said, hey, I really need you. Like, can you come back? And, I was like, where are you guys out of? He goes, out of Bowling Green. I'm like, man, that's a long drive. He goes, yeah, but you can take the truck home. I just really need you. And I was like, well, like, I really wasn't your fastest driver before. I'm definitely not right now because I'm still recovering from. I was like, I'm not really looking forward to that because I have like 120 stops, and it's gonna take me freaking forever to get everything done. And he goes, well, I understand that. What if I were to get you down to like 80 stops? Like, would that work? And I was like, well, how much money per week are we talking? He goes, they're paying us like $2,000 a week. I'm like, well, that's like twice as much as what I was making before. So I was very tempted, but I was like, you know what? It's very tempting, but I said, right now I'm literally going through PT, and I'm getting these weekly workers' comp checks. They're like 500. I think it was like 550, 600. And I was like, I think I should just keep doing what I'm doing. I can't come back yet. I'm going to keep working on getting my knee back in shape. He said, okay, I understand. I was just like, oh man, I could really use that money right now. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, but I don't know if I can do the job, because if I come back to work and then end up not being able to do the job, the workers' comp probably would already be ended by that point, because they'd be like, well, he's back to work, he's good. So I didn't want to lose the weekly check and then not be able to do the regular job and then basically be screwed. So I was like, no, I think I'm gonna stay home. You know what they say, listen to your body, don't push it, don't overdo it. So yeah, I had big plans for this week's episode and stuff, but I didn't want to push it. I kind of figured, reaching out to my buddy Dave, that was probably a long shot with him. Maybe he would have had something, I don't know, but never heard anything. So I was like, all right. But I was surprised because Ricco, he actually told me, I get that recorded and get it over to you tomorrow. But then I never heard anything. So I was like, well, I thought about asking the wife, because I know she has issues in the past that probably still haunt her to this day, whatever. But when I didn't have Ricco or Dave, I was like, well, there's no point in me asking the wife. I just have to be in the wife. I was like, I kind of wanted to make it a very, very unique episode by having 2 or 3 guests on. It'd be like back in my Team Synergy days, where I had went live every day, and I had to have like people from the team like popping in as guests or whatever, and we would literally just go back and forth on the Facebook Live and have a chat. I got a lot of people out of their shell, people that were too afraid to go live before, but then when they popped in with me quite a few times, and next thing you know, they're doing lives and posting videos or whatever. they're at that success level now that I was actually shooting for, but never got to. But so yeah, at least I was able to help out with that. But yeah, PTSD is definitely no joke. If you've gone through something and you're still showing like signs and symptoms, you know, other stuff happens and you kind of tend to freak out. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not anything that you're doing wrong. It's not your fault. Just be safe and just work through it as best you can. You know, just take it one day at a time. So on that note, I think I'll go ahead and bring this episode to a close. But you know what I always say, guys? Keep pushing forward. Keep believing. Believe you can. Believe you will. And you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and do it. We only fail if we quit giving and walk away. So as long as you keep getting back up and keep pushing forward, keep working towards your goals, and you'll never fail. Even if it takes years for you to accomplish what you're after, just keep doing it. Keep working it. You know, it's like the fact that I have one more payment on my truck. And then it's paid off. It's like, hey, progress, you know. And I could turn around and either trade that truck in towards something else, or I could get a title loan on it to get like 15 grand. But then I'm like, yeah, but then I'll owe money on the truck again. So my plan is to not do any of that shit. I'm gonna try to do the responsible thing. Pay it off, get the title in a couple weeks, lock that title up in the safe, keep working towards everything else I'm trying to work towards. Get us out of this apartment into a house, get her, you know, get the wife into her food truck, be putting money away towards savings, get both of us covered with life insurance. You know, lots of big plans, and I can only do so much at one time. So, but on that note, guys, I appreciate you being here. If you're new to this podcast, feel free to like and follow, tell your friends. If you've been with me for a while or since the beginning, I just want to let you know I really appreciate it. For anybody who would like to support the show, go to blodgetshow.com/support. Again, you know, if anybody that has any kind of stories they want to tell, experience they went through that still haunts them to this day, feel free to shoot me a voice clip to the Blodget Show email at blodgetshowpodcast@gmail.com. But on that note, again, like I always say, guys, I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. We got this. Keep doing what you gotta do. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep taking it day by day, and you know, and we're all gonna get where we're going. So on that note, I'll let you guys go with that. But I appreciate you, and I will talk to you on the next one, which I believe will be episode 126. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you then.